right, we'll give it a minute. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Megan, and I am part of the Illinois Student Assistance Commission. I'm going to be facilitating today. I am joined by a great fellow here and from Webster University, but I just want to go over some information in terms before we get started, just so you know where things are here on Zoom. So you will find the Q&A at the bottom of your screen. As you come into the session, you are muted, your video is off as well, but the Q&A is at the bottom. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to put them in the Q&A and our Andrew will be able to answer them as we go. But know that your camera and microphone are off as well. But you can sign up for more sessions as you go through. This is going on for 4 more weeks. So we have lots and lots of sessions for you to come and join us and learn about many different institutions and the different sessions that they're offering. And then the recording will be available later on the IACAC website. And that's all I have. And I'm going to pass this over to Andrew and take it away.
Great, thanks very much. So I'm going to share my screen here and we will get off and running there. So, okay, perfect. So, well, welcome to the Webster University Virtual Information Session. My name is Andrew Lowy. I'm one of the Associate Directors of Admissions at Webster University. We're going to walk through some of these slides so you get an idea of what Webster's all about. And of course, you can always list any of your questions through the Q&A box. Q&A is going to be the way that you communicate with us. So anyway, we'll go ahead and get going on that. Okay. There we go. Okay. So Webster University, we are located in Webster Groves, Missouri, which is a residential suburb of St. Louis. If you're familiar with the St. Louis area at all, it's a southwestern suburb. We're near Kirkwood. So we're about 20 minutes from the Arch, and we're in a residential area. So again, really surrounded by trees and houses there. We have about 2,800 full-time students at Webster, full-time undergraduate students. They come from 46 states and 30 countries. Webster's a smaller university, so this is not a large state university situation. In fact, most of our classes are capped at 25. We do not have any large lecture halls. Couldn't have a large lecture hall class even if we wanted to. That's just kind of not, not the setup that we have over there. We are a liberal arts school. You do hear that term used quite a bit. It basically means that we do offer a little bit of everything. We do have them spread out over 5 colleges and schools, and I'll get into that detail a little bit later. But all in all, there's over 100 academic majors that you can get into. We also have significant leadership opportunities that are available and have a wonderful study abroad program. So if anybody's interested in study abroad, Webster does a really amazing job with that. So just some admissions information so you have an idea of kind of how that works. So we are on what's called rolling admissions, which just simply means we process the applications as they come in. So we don't have a hard deadline. Yes, we prefer January 1st, but we don't want to have a deadline where all of a sudden we get 2,000 applications at once. So as the applications are submitted, we will go ahead and process those applications. And usually we let you know within 2 weeks once all your materials are in. We are a test optional school, so it is up to you to let us know. You can decide if you want us to use your test scores in the admissions review process. And so students that do want those scores considered, you just simply let us know when you apply. If you don't want your test scores considered, then you can let us know that as well too. So this is some statistics here just of the incoming freshman class. I would classify Webster as a moderately selective school. Okay, we're not highly selective, but we're not open door either. We're somewhere in between. So as you can see, the middle 50% GPA is about a 3.19 and a 3.87. That's your middle 50%. And then you can see the statistics there for those who do submit an ACT or SAT score. You can see where that is. If you are a fine arts student, if you are going into any one of our fine arts programs, and that is theater, art, dance, or music, in addition to the academic acceptance, you are required to submit an audition or portfolio review or complete an audition or portfolio review. So it's really a 2-step process. You get admitted academically, and then you are going to complete that secondary process to get specifically admitted into the program that you are looking for. So any of our fine arts programs, there is that secondary process that you have to go through. Typically, our incoming freshman class is between 450 and 500 students a year. So again, overall, what I might classify as a smaller university, small to maybe you could possibly say medium-sized university is kind of what we are there. So just about the application evaluation, kind of what we look for there. The required application items are, we need an application for admission and we need a high school transcript. So those are the two items we need at a minimum in order to evaluate you for acceptance there. We generally like students that have at least a 3.0 or higher. Is around a 3.0 is kind of what we're looking at to be strongly considered for admission. As I said, we for sure need the transcript. If requested, we might ask for an essay or personal statement. We could ask for a letter of recommendation as well. Again, that's only if requested that you would submit those. But like I said, the transcript is most important. And then you see the part about the fine arts students where they're admitted academically first, and then they go on with the second process to complete the audition or portfolio review. And if you have any unique or unusual circumstances, those can be addressed with a separate letter of explanation. You can always include that in any type of admission application as a separate attachment, just to kind of let us know that you do have these secondary topics or secondary issues, I should say, that you want us to consider there. So I mentioned the colleges and schools, and when I say it's sometimes it's a little bit confusing for students because, you know, colleges and schools, well, I thought you were a university and not a college. And a college is a school, it's kind of the way we organize ourselves academically. So our academic programs are broken down into these 5 areas. One's the College of Arts and Sciences, which is more your liberal arts offerings, the College of Fine Arts, which I've talked about. Then we have our School of Communications, which offers a lot of different majors, and I have a slide that's going to show you exactly what I'm talking about there. And then we also have our School of Education. That's for students who are looking to go into a teaching program of some kind, or elementary education. Maybe they want to be a high school teacher, special education teacher. They would be in our School of Education. And then we also have our School of Business and Technology. And those are for not only for students who want to go into business or management, but also computer science. We have a pre-engineering program that's part of that as well too. So that's in our School of Business and Technology. So again, these 5 colleges and schools, that's how we organize ourselves academically. Couple of things, no matter what your major is at Webster, that we really talk about and really emphasize is that you are going to get into your major right away. That's really important to us. We don't do this, oh, you're a freshman, so everybody takes the same thing, you know, for the first couple of years, and we worry about your major later. You're going to, you know, in most majors at Webster, you're going to take half general classes and half classes within your major. So we want you to get involved in that right away. See if in fact that's what you want to do, because you know, some students get into a program and realize that's not exactly what they were looking for. It's not what they thought it was. Well, we want you to find that out, you know, first semester your freshman year, as opposed to, you know, first semester junior year. So that's why we have you get into those classes right away. The general education or core classes, which I'll talk a little bit more, those are very flexible. You have a lot of control over how you want to satisfy that. Again, we don't say, oh, all freshmen must take this class and they must take this class. Every freshman takes, you know, a prescribed order of classes. There are core classes that are required, but you get to choose exactly how you want to satisfy those. And probably most importantly in all this, it is okay to be undecided. I know there are a lot of students who are undecided. That's okay. Officially, about probably 12 to 15% of our incoming class, their official major is undecided. I mean, that's the box they checked, and that's totally fine. That's a lot of what the freshman year is all about, is understanding what it is you like, what it is you don't like, getting your feet wet. So undecided is a totally fine major, a totally fine way to start out. Don't let anybody tell you that that's not a good way to go, because that totally works for us, and it actually works pretty well in a lot of cases. So I did want to highlight a few of our programs that we do offer that are kind of unusual, kind of hard to find. We offer a lot in the fine and performing arts. You can see even just under art here, we offer a lot of individual programs, including ceramics and illustration and sculpture and photography. We have a full dance program that you can be a part of. The music program is really robust. In fact, we have one of the few programs in the country, music direction for musical theater, which is really interesting. If your goal is to be a pit orchestra conductor for a musical, that's what that program does there. We also have a program in music technology, songwriting, so very comprehensive, as is the theater program, which of course we do acting and musical theater, and those majors, the performance majors that you would expect. But we also have a full complement of tech majors. So you can see scene design and sound design. We have 2 programs in costuming. We also have a stage management program. So there's a lot that you can get into with our fine arts programs if that's what you're looking for. And again, all of these require that secondary process to get into it there. So remember that as you're thinking about those programs. Then also I want to talk a little bit about our School of Communications. So within the School of Communications, there's about 14 or 15 individual majors. So you can get really specific within the School of Communications. A lot of smaller schools, communications can be very generalized, but here you can see we have specific programs in all of these areas. So our animation program we've had for, probably 20, 30 years. We have a wonderful program in film, TV, and video production. That used to be our filmmaking program, but now since everything, of course, is digital now, that's been rolled into film, TV, and video production. So, but the nice thing is, even with our film program, we've had that since the 80s. We were doing film back when it really was film. It was a photographic process, and it was these strips of film that you had to develop, and if you wanted to edit it, you had to cut it and glue it back together. So that's how long we've been doing film, but it's a really terrific program for us. And then we've added video game design recently, but then we also have digital media and journalism, photography. We have a dedicated program in public relations. We have sound recording and engineering, sports communications, and strategic communications. So there are a lot of programs within communications that we offer. And again, like I was mentioning, these programs, you can get into them right away. So it's very beneficial for you to be able to dive right into these programs. You don't want to spend, a year and a half, 2 years taking everything but what you're really interested in. So that's really important that we have you get into these majors right away. So, but along with those, the liberal arts at Webster represents our core. And when we say the liberal arts, we're talking about all of those programs that you would really expect most colleges to have. So we have biology and chemistry, and we have, we have a full array of English programs. So these are the programs that fall into the liberal arts that most colleges are going to have. Philosophy, religious studies, those would fall under those categories. And so all students do have to take some liberal arts, usually as part of their core classes that we talked about there. But you can see there's some unique majors here, including international human rights. There's computational biology. There's data analytics, European studies. So there's a lot of a variety of stuff that you can take, and some unique classes that you can take there. And this building right here, that's our brand new $50 million science building. So if you're going to any one of our science majors, you have a real nice setup there with state-of-the-art labs and just great workspaces, and just a wonderful facility for anybody going to any STEM field is really going to benefit from that new facility there. One thing I also did want to bring up is that we do encourage students to take classes in entrepreneurship. I think no matter what field you go into, it helps if you can be entrepreneurial. That this can be especially true in the communications and fine arts area, or perhaps creative writing, where to be successful, you might have to hustle a little bit and be dynamic in terms of your career and your job search. So there is an entrepreneurship program offered through the Walker School of Business and Technology. You can do this as a major, a minor, or even a certificate. A certificate's kind of like a minor on steroids. It's a little bit more defined than a minor. It has a beginning and an end, and there's some structured classes that go with a certificate. So there are those options there, but we really encourage just about all students in all majors that if you can, we'd love to have you take some classes in entrepreneurship, because it really is going to help you throughout your career understand what it is that you need to do in order to be successful throughout your career, and also in order to adapt and change. Of course, the world is always adapting and moving and doing different things. So that's one thing that we really encourage you to do, and you can see some of the classes and some of the subject areas that are taught there. So definitely would encourage you to look into entrepreneurship, regardless of what major that you're doing there. So a lot of students want to know what will I take as a freshman? So because you're in high school and you're wondering, okay, how is college going to be different, and what am I looking at taking? And again, for Webster, typically half your classes will be in your major area, okay, and the other half will be in general education. And you can see in that second bullet point there, we call our general education program the Global Citizenship Program, because it's meant to have you be a global citizen and be able to comprehend and understand these large problems that everybody is going to have to kind of consider when they're out in the working world. So the Global Citizenship Program is designed really to give you an understanding of those, but that's really our core program. So when you hear Global Citizenship Program, what we're talking about is our core classes there. Also, you'll all take a freshman seminar or first year seminar class. All freshmen take those. We do not require placement tests at this time. It's possible that we might have those at some point, but right now we do not require placement tests. If you have taken a foreign language, you can see the International Languages and Cultures Department. They will offer retroactive credit for that experience. So let's say that you have taken 4 years of Spanish and you're in honors Spanish and you're really fluent in Spanish, but you still want to kind of keep that up. You want to keep doing that. We're not going to make you take beginning Spanish or intermediate Spanish. We can probably move you in to advanced Spanish. So what we can do there is have you take a literacy exam within those areas and see your language proficiency within a language, and then we will put you in whatever level you need to be in. So again, if you have, say, a lot of experience in French, we're not going to put you in beginning French. We might put you in the second level of French. And then if you get a B or higher in that, we will give you credit like you would have taken beginning French. So it's actually a great way to earn a lot of free credit. But the foreign languages, or international languages as we call them, those you can be placed in whatever kind of level you need to be in order to kind of continue your studies there. We also do accept dual enrollment and AP coursework. So in fact, if you dig around the website a little bit, you can actually see what we take in the AP coursework. Some of the AP classes require 3, some require 4, some might require a 5, but you can see that on our website. But we do take AP coursework and we do take dual enrollment. The only requirement really with dual enrollment is that you send us the transcript of the institution that is awarding you college credit. So if you send us that credit, we will go ahead and treat that like you were a regular transfer student and go ahead and award you that dual credit. So if you are taking dual enrollment or AP coursework, we absolutely can transfer that and apply that towards your degree there. So these are our residence halls, campus housing there. This is not a stock photo that we just dropped in there. That really is our residence hall there. They are modern and comfortable. In fact, these particular residence halls were built about 10 or 12 years ago. Then one nice thing about all of our residence halls is that they are all suite style. So for every 2 rooms, there's 1 bathroom. We don't have a situation where it's, 1 bathroom at the end of the hall that everybody shares. It's you and a roommate in 1 room. The room next to you will have 2 people of the same gender, and then they're joined by a bathroom. So it's this semi-private suite style arrangement is what we do, and it works really well. So the rule for Webster is that if you live, if you live 35 miles or farther from campus, you are required to live on campus for the first 2 years. So and so that's the requirement for that. We do assign the roommates using a questionnaire, so it's not a random assignment. This questionnaire asks everything from, what kind of music do you listen to do you study with background noise, to, you know, are you neat? Are you messy? Are you a morning person? Are you a night person? We even ask, you know, what temperature do you like it in the room at night? Okay, because that we've come to realize that that's a factor as well too. So that's how those roommates those assignments are made. So it's a nice matchup situation. So your personal characteristics will fit with your roommate there. And we do offer free laundry, so no need to find quarters or money that you need to use the laundry. It is free laundry. And also we have these machines set up to let you know. You have like an app, I believe you can download on your phone, and it lets you know when a machine's available. So we make it pretty easy to do your laundry. So there's no excuse, you know, for not getting your laundry done when you're in college. We have all that available for you. So let's talk a little bit about student life. So there's over 80 clubs and organizations at Webster. There's the opportunity to start your own club, and it's a wide variety of clubs that are offered here. We have everything from a knitting club to an ultimate frisbee club to some religious-based clubs. So there's a lot that you can look for there in terms of what's available. There's also clubs that are related to individual majors. So there's a ton of ways to get involved outside of the classroom. You know, college is so much more than just going to class and taking tests and studying. There's this entire component of learning outside the classroom that takes place. And that's where these clubs and organizations come in. So we also have Division III athletics, lots of plays, concerts, and lectures, although not so much this fall, right? But when we do get back to where we can do those things, we have a wonderful slate of guests that we bring in to do these things. So A.D. Bryant, Terry Crews, Jamila Jamil, Bill and I, the science guy. Keenan Thompson from Saturday Night Live was scheduled to be on campus in April, but we got hit with the coronavirus, so hopefully we can get him rescheduled. So the other thing we like to bring up too is we do have extensive leadership programs. So a lot of people just kind of assume that maybe leadership develops naturally, and it certainly can. But there's also a designed method that you can do to help you become a leader. And for us, that includes classes, workshops, dedicated sessions that you can do to help that. Some people come in thinking, well, I'm just kind of that person who likes to hang out in back, and I'm more of a follower than a leader. And they sometimes don't realize that they have it in them to be a leader. And this is something that we definitely offer. In fact, we can even give you a leadership certificate by the time you graduate and a leadership transcript, which will outline what formal classes and things that you have done to develop your leadership skills. So we really love that aspect. And of course, it's easy access to the St. Louis area and St. Louis events there. And this guy here, I'll talk about him in the next slide, but that's our mascot. That's the Gorlok. I know he's kind of a strange looking character there. I'm going to talk about him here in a little bit, but if you're wondering what the heck that is, yes, that is our mascot there, and he is the Gorlok. So speaking of our mascot, with athletics, over 14 teams overall, NCAA Division III. We are a member of the St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Association. The mascot is a Gorlok. He's a mythical creature that combines speed, agility, and stamina, and also he's kind of a mashup of several different creatures. So, so he is kind of a unique thing, but we love the fact that we do have a unique mascot. It is the only Gorlok anywhere that is offered at any school. So you'll see these schools where, you know, there's a lot of them that are tigers and eagles or falcons or something along those lines. We have the only Gorlok there. So so it's kind of a unique aspect, and our students really like the fact that our mascot is so unique and he is something different. So and he, like I said, he's a mashup of several different characters: a cheetah, a buffalo, and a dependable St. Bernard. He was actually created in the 1980s. So our students wanted to do something different. They just didn't want any run-of-the-mill mascot. So they had a contest to kind of what our mascots would be. And then some students submitted like a funny drawing of what the Gorlok should be. And that's the one the students voted. And so that's what they what they wanted. They wanted the Gorlok as the mascot there. So so again, he's kind of his own thing. He's not a gargoyle, of course, because he has two horns. You know, he's not a unicorn. You know, so he's just kind of his own thing there. But then that was what he looked like back in the 80s, and this is kind of what he looks like now. He's a little bit more modernized. And I'll be honest, the hardest thing with having a Gorlok or something unique as your mascot is the mascot uniform. We have to have it custom made. This was the first Gorlok costume back in the day. Again, it had to be kind of made up, and it looks kind of a scary looking thing there. But anyway, that's the mascot. He got named because there's two streets near campus. One is called Gore, one is called Lockwood, and they intersect near campus. And so the students wanted to use that. But again, just to be different, they dropped the E from Gore and they took out the C from Lock. So he's actually spelled Gorlok, Gorlok. So that's how it's, a lot of times it's spelled incorrectly, but that is the correct spelling of the Gorlok there. So I mentioned earlier all the fascinating study abroad opportunities that we have available at Webster. So we have some amazing international opportunities. Study abroad at Webster is really quite a big deal. So you can see these are international campuses where you can actually study abroad as short as, gosh, a week, maybe 2 weeks, to, maybe an entire year, depending on what you want to do, the kind of major that you're in, and the classes that you want to take while you're overseas. So these international campuses are actually Webster campuses. So when you're there, you're actually still at Webster. So if, let's say, you go to our Vienna, Austria campus, okay, you're still at Webster. Okay, you're not taking an Austrian grading scale and converting it to a US grading scale and hope you don't lose credit. You're not having to pay in the euro or whatever the local currency might be. You're paying in dollars. You keep your financial aid. You keep your scholarship. So that's all very beneficial to us there. So, and then we do have some partner locations as well too. So there's lots of stuff that you can do. There's lots of locations that you can go to. You can even go off the board, so to speak, if you don't see a place that's listed. We've had students go to Italy and South Korea and Australia because they want to do their own experience, and that can be set up for you if you want to do that. We have an entire office on campus that is devoted to study abroad, and that's all they do. So any kind of experience that you want, we can work that out for you. The key is to let us know as soon as possible that you want to study abroad. So the moment you step foot on Webster's campus as a freshman, you let us know that you're interested in study abroad, so we can start kind of planning out, where you're going to go, when you're going to go, because not all locations offer all classes every semester. So it does take a little bit of planning depending on what your major is. But the bottom line is we make it really easy for you to study abroad, and we want you to have a study abroad experience. We probably have about a third of our undergraduate students that take advantage of a study abroad opportunity. So definitely encourage you to do that. And oh, by the way, did I mention we pay for your plane ticket? So free airfare through our World Traveler program. So we definitely want you to take advantage of that. So tuition, financial aid, and scholarships. I know that's a big question for a lot of people. This is our tuition rates here. If you are a theater major, it's a little bit more. It's $33,100. We do not charge out-of-state tuition, so it doesn't matter if you're from Missouri, Illinois, Texas, Florida, wherever. It's going to be the same amount there. So we do not charge tuition or just because you live out of state there. And for those students from Illinois, we do have an automatic scholarship. It's called the Midwest Student Exchange Scholarship. And what it ends up being is that just if you live in Illinois, but then you attend school at Webster, if your home address is Illinois, then we give you a scholarship that is worth 10% of what tuition is. So if you are a regular undergraduate student, it would be $2,850. If you happen to be a theater student, it would be $33,100 scholarship though. I'll get it right. $3,300 would be that. So, but that's an automatic scholarship. That's on top of whatever academic scholarship you would receive, which you can see right here. The basic requirement for an academic scholarship is a 2.8 grade point average. So that's generally what we're looking for there in terms of that. These scholarships are renewable for a total of 4 years, and it's every single year that you get this, because some students will say, well, I got a $12,000 scholarship. Does that mean it's only $3,000 per year? Because it's broken up. It's no, what this range here you see, this is for a scholarship that takes place. You get that all 4 years that you're at Webster. We also have some other scholarships available, including a leadership scholarship, We have a full tuition chancellor scholarship that's available for those of you who meet these criteria and want to apply for that. So there are lots of opportunities to get financial aid. You know, the more expensive a college is, the more financial aid they have to give out. So at Webster, we do a really good job with our financial aid, with our scholarships. We often at times are able to make it very affordable to students who really want to do those things. So let's talk about after graduation, just some profile of what some of our graduates do. So this is Matt Allen. That's a picture of, if there's any country fans in the audience, that's Garth Brooks. So he has engineered some of Garth Brooks's records and albums, and he's a recording engineer at some of the major studios in Nashville. This is Eileen Collins, who was the first female shuttle commander. That really is the Webster flag that is about 260 miles or so above the earth. Not sure how she was able to take that on there. NASA is usually pretty specific about what you have and you know, weight and everything, but that really is the Webster flag. This is Kimberly Stewart, who was the executive producer by Manchester by the Sea. You can see that's with her with the other producers and Matt Damon, who was in that film. So she has her own production company. She was one of our communications graduates. So she owns her own production company and then outputs films with that. A few other examples here. Leah Latham works for Walt Disney Studios. That really is the Oscar for Frozen that she's holding there. She was part of the team that won the Oscar for Frozen. She worked on Frozen 2. She worked on Zootopia. So she is a production supervisor at Walt Disney Studios. In fact, there's a documentary that is streaming now on Disney Plus that talks about the making of Frozen 2. If you look closely, you'll see Leah in there. In fact, she has a dedicated interview if you wanted to look at her, but she's a Webster grad. We also have a second Webster grad at Disney Feature Animation as well too, and have some at Disney Imagineering. So we do actually have several people that work for one of the larger entertainment companies in the world, which is really nice. Norbert Leo Butz, a Tony Award-winning actor. He's one of our theater majors. Alex Vietmeyer is the director of The Late Show with Seth Meyers. He's done so wonderfully well. He's from around here in St. Louis, but now producing and directing that. He's directing that show. He also sent us a picture where it shows him in, like, you know, in front of, gosh, must be about 70 different screens, and you wonder how he keeps track of them all. But he only probably has to pay attention to a handful of those at once. But it was a pretty cool picture. But I wanted to use this instead. But he's the director of the Late Show with Seth Meyers. So another successful communications graduate there. And then we have Butch Thomas, who's a professional musician, has sung with a lot of major names, as you can see there. Janae Williams is a producer here at the NBC affiliate in St. Louis, and William Broad is the science writer for the New York Times. So the graduates have gone on to do really amazing and wonderful things. I do get a lot of questions about, okay, well, how easy is it to get a job, or what's the placement rate after graduation? And our Webster's overall comprehensive employment rate upon graduation is about 93% within 6 months. So 93% of our graduates within 6 months are working somewhere and are gainfully employed. What I would tell parents and tell students, because we do get a lot of questions, particularly say about fine arts and communications, we really have a good track record of getting students employed in those fields. The one thing to keep in mind is you do have to be able to kind of go where the jobs are. What I mean by that is you can't geographically limit yourself. The students who tend to have maybe a little bit of a struggle getting jobs in communications and fine arts are those maybe who geographically limit themselves. You have to go, you know, where the opportunities take you. And almost always the other thing that includes it has to be a large city in most cases. So in a lot of cases, you're looking at least a medium-sized market or a large-sized market in order to really have as many opportunities as possible to be successful in that. So, and then this last slide I wanted to show you, I actually should say second to last slide. I just kind of use this as just kind of a final slide, just to kind of encapsulate for you and capture what Webster is really, really all about there, to kind of put into just a few words here, who it is we are. So I'm not going to read these for you. You can see these on your own in terms of who we are and what we do, but that does a pretty good job of really describing what a Webster student is. The way I describe it is that we're very, we're very open-minded. We're very flexible. We're very diverse. You can be who you want to be. You can dress like you want to dress. You can listen to the kind of music you want to listen to, and you know what? That's fine with us. So be yourself. Enjoy being yourself. We want you to be yourself here at Webster, and that's totally fine. That's actually the kind of students who really thrive here. So that just gives you an idea of kind of the type of student that tends to come to Webster and really thrives at Webster and enjoys being here. So this is the last slide in terms of next steps and what you should be doing. So apply for admission at webster.edu/apply. We are also a Common App school, and we also accept the Coalition app. So there actually are 3 ways that you can apply there. The other thing you can do is to talk to your friends, talk to relatives, neighbors, teachers, school counselors, anybody who might be familiar with Webster. Word of mouth is probably the single best way to find out about, whether or not a school is the right fit for you. So talk to a number of different people if they're familiar with Webster and if they think that you would be the right person, to be a student at Webster. That can really be helpful there. We also would ask you to schedule an individual visit at webster.edu. Right now, we're not doing in-person visits, but I think we might reinstate those here, say in the next month or so. Right now, we're just doing virtual visits. So you can set up a one-on-one visit with an admissions counselor. We can set up a visit with a faculty member, and an athletic coach could probably even get you a current student if you were interested in something like that. So we're doing virtually right now, but we're hoping, again, probably here, hopefully within the next month, to have some type of in-person visit, a traditional campus visit as well. So keep your eye on that webster.edu/visit page, because that'll give you updates for that. The other thing I would say too is look for the opportunities for our preview days and for our group visits that we're offer. So webster.edu/preview days is where you're going to be able to find that information. We actually have one coming up October 10th, I believe, and then we have one in November and we have one in December. Right now, these are scheduled to be virtual, but again, we're going to have breakout rooms and we're going to get you into particular areas based on your major there and what you're interested in doing. So those opportunities are going to be available. So visit the webster.edu/preview days page to get information on that. And then finally, what I would tell you as well too is to contact us with any questions. You can see the admit@webster.edu email address. That's why we're here. The admissions office, our job is to help you through this process. Our job is to answer your questions. Our job is to kind of guide you through, whatever it is you need to know to have you enroll at Webster University. So please reach out, to us whenever you need anything or have questions about this process, or maybe you got an email from us that maybe didn't quite make sense and you're wondering kind of what your next steps are. That's why we're here. So please utilize that all together there. So, and I think that's about all I had. I don't see any questions that have come up. So I'll have the facilitator come back in and end the session and have some final reminders for you about as we wrap up here. So.
Yes, thank you so much, Andrew. That was a great presentation. I'm going to share my screen one more time. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. There will be a quick survey once you exit out of the session. So please fill that out so we know how well the session went, as well as if you've joined us for any other sessions for this virtual college fair. You of course can always sign up for more sessions at IACAC.org. And then again, the recording will be made available at a later date on the IACAC website. So thank you so much, Andrew. Thank you so much for that lovely presentation, and everyone have a great evening.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.